I'm the last match of this weekend, and it's in
Yeah.
45 minutes. But we have the next one. It's gonna be Fruitcake going up against Troyer, and Epic Man 2. You're gonna be staying in here. I think you can introduce my replacement at the very least as I take my leave. Thank you all so much.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. I'll catch you guys later. Have fun on the rest of the block.
Yeah, thank you once again. Oh, okay, never mind. Thank you once again to Sparky for commentating alongside me through that very dangerous match that we had just seen. It was one of the most intense matches that I had seen in this quarterfinals weekend. And we do wish them the best of, and we do wish Sparky the best of luck for their upcoming match that's going to be happening after this. So, like, as we can see here, we're going to be seeing both Fruity and Troyer facing off against each other on the quarterfinals. Back-to-back match, as after such an insane banger of a match, we're going to be seeing Seed 40 Fruitcake going up against Seed 17 Troyer, as we can see. And as we can see, I guess here, there isn't really, I don't need any introduction here. Once again, I am Epic Man 2, and now joining alongside me is going to be none other than Poketoin. How's your day been?
Hello, Epic Man! Well, my day's been quite good, actually. So, the main things I've been doing this day is actually watching things, especially the Mania World Cup 7K map pool showcase, and this was nuts. Like, those maps are incredibly hard. This is another whole level. Though here we are in a 5-digit tournament. This is the Winter Summoner Grand Slam tournament, which is Fruitcake versus Troyer, as you just said.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, in all fairness, like, MWC in general is just the leagues ahead of, like, tournaments like these in terms of difficulty, but, like, but each to their own, really. They both have their own merits that really set them apart. And as we can see, we're going to be seeing Troyer setting the stage as we basically just had to come here right after the tiebreaker had just ended. We're going to be seeing the worst. Rise 4 being picked out right to set the tone of the match. Troyer aiming to try and bring the matters to themselves to make a very strong impression against the likes of Fruitcake here, as the seat difference is pretty big, as we can see, but who knows, maybe some pretty dangerous stuff is going to be happening here. Maybe we're seeing something very similar to the match we literally just had.
Indeed, as I've just seen the last match as just a basic viewer, and yeah, the fact that it went on tiebreaker despite the seed difference really tells something. You're never safe, even with such a seed difference.
God, I'm really gonna need a moment to breathe after that previous match, but oh my god, that was remarkable.
Fruitcake actually getting that first drop. I think we are pretty tired this evening.
Yeah, we've only got like 2 matches. We got this one and to get through, and then we've got the next match right after that's going to be coming away. So nonetheless, we see Fruitcake taking the first miss just early into the match. This is not a very good sign to see, just to start things off, as we can see here. Troyer going to be getting that small advantage, just halfway through the first quarter of the map, maintaining that 99.80% accuracy, as we can see here, just simply breezing through a lot of these very streamy patterns, as we can see here. Very dump oriented, but the map is going to be picking up relatively quickly as we get into this sort of course, which introduces a lot of these relatively sort of funky bursts and trills, as we can see here. And so far, it's only been cursing Fruitcake, as we have seen here, take all those misjudgments, but Troyer are going to be reigning the supreme lead over all of that, and that miss, Fruitcake only adding more to the fire out of their control.
Indeed. Now with Troyer having 2 misses advantage, and on top of that, the accuracy advantage giving a pretty huge lead, and quite something to work with. Even some misses could not make the Fruitcake have the lead back. Though we are only halfway through the map, so anything can happen, especially at the ending of the map, as we've seen in some matches, especially the show match, the famous 3 misses, like 1 shot at the ending. So in this map, even if you have a huge lead, you are never safe.
Absolutely, and because Fruitcake has taken even faithful drops, like just getting past the first half mark, just getting past the first half of this map it's just only going to allow Troyer to just bring themselves such a comfortable lead just going through the second course. But obviously the fight is not over yet. There is still a lot of the map left to go, and we can definitely see Troyer just looking to capitalize off of some of these like really funky patterns that are going to show up at your doorstep right in a few seconds, or at least like after this final calm section.
We are getting closer and closer to that trail, that accelerating trail. Are both players gonna hold it on it? That's what we're gonna find out. And as I say that, Fruitcake is gonna take the drop.
Yeah, Fruitcake not falling victim to that very infamous trail to that just simply kickstarts this final course. It basically just sealed the coffin, and even with those chain misses from Troyer, it's not going to change. It's not going to shift the goals. It's not going to shift the goalpost for Fruitcake here, as we can see. Unfortunately for them, once again, this was Troyer's first pick, making the strong impression of the match already, only getting 5 misses and overall getting the overall better score, nearly 970k score. Valiant effort for Troyer to start the match off.
Indeed, a really good start for Troyer there, as this is their first pick, though this is Fruitcake's pick, so it does still have a chance of getting back up. So, and he actually does pick Helen too.
Yeah, Fruitcake gonna be aiming to try and shift things a bit with the LN2 pick as their first pick to start off with. This is once again the LN density map of this map pool. So like with this map being relatively rigid in its own right, there is definitely like a lot of room for error for both these players to make if they want to try and like win a point off of this. And it's gonna be a pretty dangerous situation for both of them if they do end up feeling so comfortable enough to play this map against each other, as we can see.
Indeed, this is not just a classic jump stream LN map. There's some wildcardish elements to it, which could make some people trip up, so do be careful. This is not fully autopilotable.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we can see, both players going to be opening the green flag for Ellen Tuners, as we can see here. Just going to be introducing more of the tone match in general. Fruitcake relatively having a very fast scroll speed, as I can see there. Troyer having found a bit of a drop just to start off with. That's not going to give them the greatest favor coming into this match, but it does seem to be working out in Fruitcake in exchange, which is a good sign for Fruitcake if they want to be able to try and like keep themselves afloat in this tournament, as this is in the losers bracket once again. So if either of these players end up losing this match, they're going to be knocked out of the tournament, which is a situation that no one wants to really suffer. And seen from a lot of fatal and just overall just stressful matches we've seen earlier that have really expressed that this is going to be entering the late stage of the tournament. We can see even with Fruitcake taking that miss there, it's not going to mean anything fatal enough to be able to give the lead to Troyer due to the amount of drops that they had taken. Even around that, just simply daunting around the amount of drops that they had taken out of their control.
Indeed, it looks like it works for Fruitcake to pick ends there, as Troyer does look like to struggle a little bit on those ends. So definitely something to look out for Fruitcake for the future picks.
Absolutely, and with this pick like working really well in favor of Fruitcake, as we can see here, Troyer just not being able to match Fruitcake's LN skill going into here. Even with some of these like patterns here, it only gets harder in this lost course here, introducing some of these like short LN court jacks and some of these LN bursts as well, just only And with Troyer taking another miss, that's basically once again sealed the deal for Fruitcake, just as much as it sealed the deal for Troy, just as much as it sealed the deal on Rise 4 earlier. So I think we might have a bit of a solid idea with this match already, just seeing those two maps like early on.
Indeed, we can notice this match might. Ooh, what?
Oh god! Sorry, I just knocked my microphone over. Oh my god! I kept doing this like often, and when I was commentating as well, it happened like in the previous match as well. But I still managed to catch it. But I guess this time might not be the charm, unfortunately.
Oh my god, I need to stop laughing. Oh my god, I know I forgot what to say.
Bro, I hope the VOD comes out like soon. I just want to hear how that sounded, because it probably would have sounded unpleasant, but sometimes people find
it
the most
sounded
pleasant
okay.
thing. Yeah.
The thing with this match is that it might be closer than what the seedings tell here, because the thing is that we can see that Fruitcake might have some end safe pick. So this might be closer than we think. Yeah, you need to get some water.
Yeah, oh my god. I literally just swallowed water, bro. Okay. But anyways, with that being said, both players just tying themselves with their individual first points already. Troy are going to be taking their next pick to like sort of bring onto the table. So with this one, going to be none other than Trouble April. This is the 200 BPM jump stream map of this map pool. So like, so depending on how things are going to be going, this is a lot more straightforward on the contrary to the likes of the worst as we have seen start off the match. So it can be pretty telling of like what is to come if Troyer does end up getting a relatively strong like sort of feel to work with on this map alone, as we can see.
Indeed, though this map is much more straightforward than the worst, so both players might actually have this map, so this might play only on accuracy, but we'll have to wait and see how it goes.
Absolutely, and like getting through like this and just being introduced like the details of the map, as you can see, just getting through a lot of these relatively dense jump streams, catching Fruitcake off despite hanging onto the combo. It's gonna be Troyer hanging on to the higher accuracy advantage overall, just going to allow themselves to just climb slowly but surely over to that 10,000 lead, which is like something that they probably would have wanted with a map like this, just to simply just try and get themselves the upper hand with a Rice map. I believe this, just based off how things are looking, this might be yet another Rice versus LN battle, just based off of how Rice 4 and this map is going, and also how LN2 from earlier had wins. So this is going to be pretty dangerous for both these players if they have to face each other on so many hybrid maps. And that miss from Fruitcake just only going to really put the nail in the coffin, as we can see. This is not a very good situation for Fruitcake if they want to be able to try and get a break point off of Troyer here.
Indeed, it looks like both players have a very huge lead on their respective skill sets. So each of these maps might be not so close, but the match itself might be close points wise. Though I'm curious to see how the hybrids are gonna go.
Absolutely, and Troyer in with the 153 perfect ratio with only one grade, getting that 994k on the jump stream map. That is a that has to be a signal for Fruitcake here to put in their notes. I think like now Fruitcake is just gonna have to like try and avoid like getting into these very dangerous like Rice picks in general. Considering what we have seen of Troyer so far, it definitely shows that Troyer is very, very capable of playing these Rice maps alone, and it's gonna really be telling of like if they aren't. It's gonna be really telling if like both these players are just, and I think the same sort of principle goes for Troyer as well, going on to these Ellen maps, as we can see, going to be Fruitcake countering both the Rice picks once again with Ellen 1. Going to be none other than Tokyo Night Flight going in, the coordination map of the map pool.
Indeed, the much more coordination-based oriented map of this pool And I notice only now, this is actually OD8. This is quite high for an LN race map like this. So you really get to try and hold on that accuracy during this map.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, I think the reason why this is like at OD8 is because of the fact that this might be a bit of an older map on the contrary. So standards probably would have been a bit different like back then, but I can take a bit of a quick check to like sort of like fact check like what I am talking about in terms of like how old this map is, because like I have a feeling that this might have not been a relatively recent map, and even then we see Fruitcake having the upper hand. But this time it's a bit closer, considering that Troyer is only behind him by about 1,000 points. So like any mistake that Fruitcake makes here is going to just cost them a lot, especially if they don't want to allow Troyer to just get another breakpoint just to break away from this pretty potential tight lead competition. Just like tugging the lead against each other if their tournament lives here, as it is once again going to be at stake here. And to confirm my facts, it turns out this map is literally like nearly 6 years old. This was made on 2019. April.
Indeed, this is quite old. This is literally before the COVID era, so quite old.
Yeah, absolutely. Times were just so different. COVID began, and now that we've just made it out of quarantine, like after maybe way too long, we've met with like so many different changes. Like, oh no, we've seen a lot of insane players rising up ever since quarantine ended, and it's kind of no joke to really scoff at, you know?
I mean, the thing is that I might be biased, but the thing is that maybe the thing that is that players couldn't go outside, so they played Mania instead, and they got better. I don't know.
Probably, yeah. I mean, that does seem to be the most common case, like, if you put it into perspective, and it seems like now getting past the halfway mark of this map, it seems that Troyer haven't taken a miss on the way. That's going to, like, bring themselves out and not allow themselves to maintain that combo throughout the entire map. This could have been close, but because of the major accuracy differences we can see here, Fruitcake just around the 99.70% accuracy range, whereas Troyer is just basically breaching, just almost at the brink of like just leaving themselves to slip under the 99% accuracy range. It's basically a very uphill battle from here, and if Troyer really wants to be able to try and like bring matters over to their hands once again, they're really gonna have to pray for a break from KK. But knowing their consistency on this map, it's not very likely. That's such a tall task to ask here.
Though Fruitcake does get some 200s here and there, but the thing is that the lead is actually way too big, and that actually seals the deal. Another point for Fruitcake.
Absolutely. So Fruitcake making yet another strong pick on their out of their sort of hat here, as we can see, just basically using their little magic wand to be able to bring themselves yet another point, as we get a bit of this little like layered sort of battle, as we can see here. Just like it's quite literally a cake full of different fruits. So like both these players just basically picking and choosing like what they want to just like throw at each other, I guess. Like it seems like Fruitcake is just going to be like going at war with Troyer, just tugging them with the Ellen maps, and Troyer going to be tugging at them with the Rice maps on the contrary. And now with Troyer being the next in line to pick, it seems that I think they're going to be picking another Rice, and as I say, they're going to be picking Rice 6, so that's going to be a cumulative making its entrance.
Indeed, the more core Jack pick though, I mean, it is core Jack oriented, though there is some technical elements to it, especially a core's burst. Like, you can miss on it. Though I think Troyer mainly bets on the accuracy difference there.
Most likely, yeah. I mean, like, project map. Okay, is my mic even picking? I think I have to.
Yeah, like,
oh my god.
Sometimes I do hear you, that I don't hear you. That's quite weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just happening, but nonetheless, we're gonna be seeing Rice 6 being out of the bag, as we can see here. So Troyer gonna be aiming to get another point off of the rice maps here. Just this one being a lot more straight on the contrary. So like this one being more straightforward on the contrary and gonna be like something that is going to like mean a lot to Troyer, as we can see here. This is gonna mean a lot to both of these players because this is the more consistency like oriented pick in general. And so like if Troyer does, and so like now at this point, both the Fruitcake taking that miss is going to basically spell the lead for Troyer just to be solidified in their favor. Unfortunately for Fruitcake here, just dropping on 99.50% accuracy range, as Troyer is basically holding a very strong accuracy lead so far. Just under that 100% mark, but taking that miss as well is just going to bleed the point lead over closer to Fruitcake's side, but it's not going to be by way too much either. There's still the next half of the map to go, and this is a very bursty map in general. So like, if anyone messes up on these patterns, then it's going to spell a bunch of problems depending on who the lead does end up going to, as we can see here.
Especially on the side of Troyer, as this is his pick. So if there is a breakpoint on this pick, this is gonna be very, very good for Fruitcake. Though this is not gonna be easy, considering that he got a drop. So he does really have to pray for a Troyer drop, maybe even 2 drops there.
And with that, as you said, Fruitcake going to be taking what is probably the final miss of this map. So this is going to be the one sealing the deal for Fruitcake, as we can see here. Just gonna, it's only just going to add more to what Troyer needs to be able to try and advance to the semifinals bracket if they really want to, if they want to try and keep their arc in this tournament. But as we can see here, Troyer only got 43 perfects. It's just it's just all the misjudgments. Like, where did they all come from?
Well, I think I saw one and it was like on air. It did miss on like a break. But that ratio is insane indeed. Like, this is the best ratio, even better than the ratios that we've seen on the show match, where we did have some stuff as players that should be skill banned. This is insane of a score.
I mean, I guess this is just the sort of thing that you see with like newer up-and-coming players in general. Like, you get to see like lesser-known players that are just surprisingly as insane as like a lot of the more like sort of established figures in the Mania community that most likely, as you'd say, would be like skill banned from this sort of tournament in general. So like, but that's not to say that like Troyer in general is like not like slacking in anything. There's still like a really good Rice player from see here, and like just leaving a strong impression on a lot of these Rice maps in general is just only going to add more to what they would need. So if Troyer having one, just basically being free to them right now, bring the score lead in their favor, they're just gonna have to try and get a breakpoint if they want to be able to try and like secure matters to be more in their favor, as we can see here, especially with a hybrid map such as this, which is like a lot more on like the sort of unconventional side. This is like a bit older. It's none other than Chinese restaurant. Like, this map doesn't really need any introduction. Like, if you've seen it, then you've definitely seen it. But Fruitcake taking that miss there, that's only going to give Troyer the upper hand. Not being able to just simply combo through those LNs here, unfortunately, as it stands.
Indeed. The thing is that with this map, this is an hybrid map. I mean, this is mainly an LED-oriented map, but the thing is that Troyer does get the lead from those breaks from Fruitcake, and even accuracy-wise, Troyer does have a much better accuracy than on those LN maps, so this is very, very dangerous for Fruitcake here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's because of the fact that there's a lot of Rice into parent. I think the reason for that is because of the fact that there's a lot of Rice oriented in this map as well. So like, this chart being just overall a sort of mix and mission mash of both Rice and Ellen, but Troyer taking that miss, that's only going to bring the lead back to Fruitcake after having lost it earlier in the match. So it seems like Fruitcake here is going to be really wanting to try and keep that lead for themselves and not bring it and not take yet another fatal miss. Otherwise, this could lead to Troyer just breaking the cycle of this Ellen and Rice battle. But Fruit Cake taking that miss, it's just only going to bring the lead closer to Troyer. They just cannot afford anything else. But the score is flickering and no, are you joking me? Bro, this is the second time it's happened!
This is the first breakpoint of this match. And oh jeez.
Oh, dude.
This is so close. And even look at the judgment. Like, Fruitcake does have almost everything. Better ratio, better 200 count, even better miss count. Like, how does he have less score? This is crazy.
I have no idea. I think it was just a matter of the final slider break that just spelled doom for Fruitcake here, as Troyer finally breaks this chain, just breaks from the shackles of being like locked into just gaining points off of these Rice maps. It only gives Troyer more opportunities to just simply execute and bleed more pounds from Fruitcake here if they just want to be able to just cause a massacre, only to allow themselves to make it out of this quarterfinals weekend as it closes out very shortly. And now with Troyer being the next in line to pick, they're gonna have to be careful with like their next pick. So like they've still got like the good other half of the Rice pool to choose from if they want to be able to make things like easier for themselves. But it seems like now they're gonna be choosing Loretta, so that's gonna be Rice free, making its way into the equation as we can see here.
Indeed, Troyer being in a very, very good position right there, as this is his own pick. So if he does get this pick, that will basically get him into match point. So pretty much tiebreaker guaranteed.
Yeah, this is like a more straightforward Rice map in terms of like what is available in the pool. This is like still like technical in its own right, but this one on the contrary is like a lot calmer to the worst that we've seen starting off the match. So this being yet another strong pick that Troyer has on their field, as we can see here. They're both players having sent out their good luck, have funds. They're going to be facing each other right away as this next pick is underway. As we can see, Troyer are going to be wanting to try and secure match point for themselves, as we can see here. But Fruitcake has yet to just accumulate even more points from here. It would be really surprising to see if Fruitcake does end up unexpectedly winning on this map, if anything does happen. If maybe some pretty fatal mistake does happen, but I can't be the one hoping for that, can I?
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens, considering this map is actually quite long, so quite the consistency map there.
Absolutely. This map is like relatively light in its own way, but that isn't something to be underestimated either, considering the fact that it is quite bursty with a lot of these dump patterns just simply going in various directions, as you've really got to pay attention to what exactly you're trying to play as accurately as possible. And so far, both players hanging on to the FC, but it seems to be Troyer that is hanging superior accuracy here, as the lead is only 2,000 points ahead in their favor. So like Fruitcake does end up missing, and that's only going to give Troyer the upper hand here. But if Troyer does miss on the other hand, then that's only going to bring the lead back to Fruitcake, and that is something that they don't want, especially account for the amount of time that it takes to actually get yourself back to the 400 combo cap as usual.
Indeed, both players actually need to hold on their combo if they want to be able to get that point for both players, as the lead is actually quite short still.
And Fruitcake taking that miss, that has basically just spelled doom for them already. If Troyer does not end up taking a miss, even with a lot of these pretty clunky patterns that could just throw a lot of people off very badly, especially some of these pretty like unexpectedly tight mini jacks that are just thrown at you. It seems to be throwing Fruitcake off instead, despite like what happened.
And some of those one-hand mini trees can definitely trip you up if you are not careful enough. So again, another pattern to look out for. So this is not over yet, but with this lead that Troyer has, it is very unlikely that something happens in the end in the favor for Fruitcake.
Yeah, absolutely. And like getting into this course here, it seems Troy are going to be taking a miss here, but that was a relatively clean miss, so nothing is going to change because of the score lead that they've built. Just allowing to sacrifice just some of the score lead to just allow themselves to, like, there was honestly not enough for Troyer to sacrifice to just give the lead back to Fruitcake, and that is something that they don't want to give up either. And as we can see, Fruitcake exchanging that miss as well, just basically late into the map. That's basically spelled this map already, unless a massive meltdown on the side of Troyer does end up happening. But I don't think it is going to be the case, as we can see here.
Indeed, as you can see towards the ending of the map, Fruitcake getting a lot of 200s there, basically sealing the lead for them. So Troyer being basically on match point, though this is Fruitcake's pick, so he can try and climb back up, though this is gonna be really hard for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And with Troyer setting yet another score on this Rice map, with only getting one great and this relatively strong score in general. Oh my god, my mic is cutting out. Can it stop cutting out already? I swear to Christ. It seems like despite that, Fruitcake is going to be picking Ellen Free next. So with this being their potential lost map, unless they do end up winning, this is going to be a very dire situation for Cake here, considering that they have not built enough safe points to be able to just simply climb the ranks enough to so they really don't have any other option just to simply start a reverse sweep streak that will force the tiebreaker in this match no matter what happens.
And even though there's actually 2 LN maps in the pool left, the thing is that to be able to play the next LN map, Fruitcake will have to get another breakpoint on the Rice map that Troyer will likely pick. So this is really not a comfortable situation for Fruitcake there. And right off the bat, it looks like it is actually quite close, and this is actually flickering early in the map. And as I say that, Troyer actually getting the first drop, so this is gonna go in the favor for Fruitcake, though nothing is quite over yet, as there is still a lot in the map left. And it looks like this is also quite a dirt drop, as there is quite an accuracy difference too there. So quite a comfortable situation for Fruitcake there, though even if he does get that point, this is not safe for him yet. And apart from that drop from Troyer, both players actually holding on their combo. And looking forward for the last corner of the map, it looks like the lead is actually increasing a little bit as the map goes on, as Fruitcake just gets the 200. But the thing is that the accuracy difference is quite big now, and he does even have the combo advantage, so Fruitcake in a really good position on this map right now, as Troyer does get, and oh, this is actually a trade. The thing is that Fruitcake actually does have built already that lead that he needed, so that is only just gonna seal the deal. And Fruitcake actually gonna take that 3rd point in the match.
Hello everyone, I'm back again. Sorry for there was a bee in the studio. Anyways, with that said, it seems that Fruitcake gonna be getting their next point off of Ellen Free. Now it seems like Troyer is basically like in one of their strongest suits now, with the fact that they've got quite a plethora of ice maps left to choose from if they want to just end this match as it is and just secure their placement in the semifinals losers bracket as it stands, which is only just gonna become a lot more steeper hill from here. And it seems like now it seems like Troyer is probably gonna end the match off with none other than Iambic 9 Poetry. So like this map being like a lot more of a rigid rice map with like very tight sort of axis requirements when it comes to like these kinds of patterns. It features a lot of bursts as well as mini jacks in general. So like this is probably going to be a bit of a doomed situation for Fruitcake here in this losers bracket, unless Fruitcake has just a final Joker card up their sleeve to just simply present here. But we'll just have to see how this map goes, because this is Troyer's probably most confident pick as it stands right now, just getting into the late stage of this match alone.
Indeed, though, this is quite a technical map, so if Fruitcake does manages to, even if it does have a lower accuracy, get that full combo, he might be able to get that point if Troyer does get some mistakes. Though we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and so far as we can see here, just getting into the introductions, both players are basically equalized in terms of accuracy, just based off some of these relatively light patterns. This map does go, like, this song in general is, like, just all over the place in general. Like, a lot of these, like, very clunky rhythms in general just can throw anyone off, and so far seems to be working in favor of Troyer, as we can see here, but it's not going to be that case for very long, as we can see the score just very close to Fruitcake's side as well. I think now Fruitcake just has to like take some sort of fatal misjudgment for Troyer to just secure their lead for the time being, and it's gonna take a bit considering that this map, and as we can see, just getting through like a lot of these pretty rigid soul just patterns in general, you get to see that this is what Troyer was praying for when picking this map. Just these overall like relatively tight bursts to just throw Fruitcake off, and is working very well. So Troyer just needs to try their best to hang on here no matter what happens, to be able to secure this point for themselves and to end the match once and for all. Unless Fruitcake does manage to hang on and Troyer does miss, it's going to take a lot of effort for both these players to make it out of this pick alone.
Indeed, though this is not safe for Troyer quite yet, as Fruitcake is still seeing the map still, though with the accuracy difference only growing up, the Fruitcake will need more and more mistakes from Troyer to be able to climb back the lead.
Yeah, absolutely, and seeing that both these players are still hanging on. Both these players are still hanging on very strong without much too many problems, like Fruitcake even taking all those faithful misjudgments. That's only going to put them out of this competition here, as Troyer just reigns supreme, just no matter what the map has thrown at both these players. And I think at this point, getting into this ending, we just have a winner already.
Indeed, and the winner here is actually Troyer there, which is gonna move up into the semifinals, the losers bracket.
Absolutely.
As for Fruitcake, unfortunately, this is the end of their parkour, the really great parkour. I hope we do see him next in the next tournaments, and I think that does it.
Yeah, Troyer basically ending the match off with a fabulous score. Price 5, just basically proving how much of a monster they are when it comes to these kinds of rice maps in general, especially ones that are just all over the place, such as Iambic 9 Poetry, as we all know from this map pool alone. And as we can see, like with this being the second to last match of the whole quarterfinals weekend, this means that we're going to be going on to our final match of the quarterfinals in only 8 minutes. It's going to be none other than Sparky going up against Seimitsu, as we can see here. See who is going to be facing Ruler in the semifinals bracket, in the losers bracket, as we can see here.
Indeed, and this is, as you said, only 7 minutes from now. So I guess we'll just have a bit of a break there, and we see you guys later.
Yep, this has once again been Epic Man 2, joined by Poketoin, and we'll catch you all later. See you in about 8 minutes.